In the desert area of Mexico, a man unearths an old spearhead wrapped in a Nazi flag. The moment he touches the spear, an entity takes over his body. He starts walking and is hit by a car. It is the car that is in shambles instead of him. He gets up and resumes walking. Meanwhile, a woman in a small apartment in Los Angeles is horrified to see her daughter climbing walls and snarling at her. Father Hennessy calls John Constantine when he thinks that this might be one for John. John is an exorcist working with his apprentice, Charles, to find and banish demons that misbehave in the mortal plane. He tells John he has found the one that John has been seeking. Hennessy tells John he failed to exorcise whatever is inside the young girl and has called on him for help. The possessed girl is tied to her bed, and John opens a window, letting sunlight in. He brings out a talisman that casts a shade on the young girl, and the girl snarls at him. John presses the amulet forcefully onto the forehead of the girl, and it immediately starts hissing. The girl begins shaking and wailing as John chants an incantation. To hurry things up, he asks for a mirror. The family gets a big mirror and helps hold it above the girl. John smashes a window and asks Chase to move the parked car below. John orders everyone in the room to not open their eyes. John uncovers the girl's eyes, and the demon escapes. John orders Hennessy to pull the mirror, but it does not fit through the window. John takes over, trying to pull the mirror out, and sees the demon trying to escape. He puts all his weight in the rope, and the mirror flies out the window, falling onto the car and smashing to pieces. John steps out of the room, sees a drawing of what looks like a spearhead, and recognizes it as the Spear of Destiny, the same spear the man earlier found in the desert. John tells Hennessy that the exorcism was unusual, and he vaguely predicts something big will happen. John leaves, and Chaz drives him home. Angela Dotson, a seasoned police detective, finds solace in confessing her darkest secrets to a priest. With a heavy heart, she admits to taking the life of yet another criminal. The weight of her actions burdens her as she questions the unnerving ease with which she carries out these killings. It is as if an instinctual force guides her, leading her unerringly to these vile men and revealing the precise moment to strike. Doubt gnaws at her, wondering if she is somehow broken. Seeking guidance, she turns to the priest, who assures her that God has a purpose in store for her. In the comfort of her own home, she has a nightmare where she awakens from a hospital bed. As she stirs, a faint whisper of the name Isabel reaches her ears, getting up to go towards the hospital rooftop. Upon reaching the rooftop, she unfastens her medical tag. Without hesitation, she takes a bold leap, shattering through a glass roof and plunging into a pool of water below. The following morning, John Constantine gets an X-ray of his lungs, and a doctor tells him he has an advanced form of terminal lung cancer and only has a short time left to live. In the same hospital, Angela arrives at the scene of a suicide. The victim is her twin sister, Isabel. A colleague tells her Isabel jumped from the roof, but Angela says she knows Isabel is not the one to kill herself. John's friend, Beeman, arrives at John's apartment with an eager grin. He brings with him a plethora of items and equipment for John. Beeman gives John bullet shavings from an assassination attempt on the Pope, holy water from the River of Jordan, and a screech beetle that repels demons. Beeman asks what the new assignment is about, and John tells him about the exorcism. John says he saw a demon soldier trying to exit from the young girl's body into the human realm. Beeman is surprised to hear this, knowing the demons can only control humans and possess them, but can never enter the human physical realm. Just to be sure, John asks Beeman to do some research into this phenomenon. John and Chaz then head to a church, and John again runs into Angela. Angela speaks with a priest while John goes straight for Gabriel. John sees Gabriel's dark wings and refers to it as a half-breed. Gabriel knows why John has come and tells John angels still keep track of the most wayward souls. Angela asks the priest to give Isabel a Catholic funeral, but the priest says the bishop has decided against it. Angela tries to reason, but the priest tells her there is nothing he can do. John tells Gabriel about an influx of soul travel in the mortal realm and asks Gabriel if God can extend his life. Gabriel laughs, finding John's determination to get into heaven a lost cause. John reminds Gabriel of all the demons and hell minions he has banished and sent back to hell. Gabriel answers that all John has done is not enough. Self-sacrifice and belief is the only thing that will get John into heaven. John complains that he's already made so much sacrifice, and he believes in God. But Gabriel points out that John only knows of God's existence, but John doesn't believe in the Almighty. John argues he's pulled demons out of children to save their lives, but Gabriel counters that John has only done this for his benefit so that he'll be allowed into heaven. Meanwhile, Father Hennessy flips through several newspapers, analyzing the news articles in his head as he runs his hands over them. He sifts through a stack of papers until his attention is captured by one particular story: the tragic suicide of Isabel, a person struggling with mental health issues. Angela, on the other hand, watches footage of Isabel's death and catches a faint whisper of Constantine's name. She immediately recognizes it as the same name uttered by the rude man she encountered at the church. As John takes a moment to smoke, he suddenly senses a presence approaching him. To his astonishment, he learns it is a demon covered in a swarm of insects. The demon launches an attack, sending John hurtling across the road. In a warning, the demon urges John to steer clear of meddling with demons. Determined to defend himself, John attempts to repel the demon using a screeching beetle, which successfully strikes the demon as an oncoming van crashes into the demon. After the encounter, John meets up with Chas, and together they head towards the Midnight's nightclub. Inside, John observes the friendly interaction between different half-breeds. Finding a rare moment of peace, seeking answers, John heads towards the back room where he encounters Papa Midnight, a holy man who has taken an oath of neutrality, refusing to align himself with either heaven or hell. John recounts his recent encounter with a full-fledged demon to Midnight, who finds it perplexing since demons are not supposed to cross over into the human realm. This is a fundamental rule that both sides must adhere to maintain balance. Their conversation is abruptly interrupted by the arrival of Balthazar, a demon half-breed, who casually enters the room while toying with a coin. Balthazar directs his attention towards Constantine, provoking his anger and prompting him to threaten exorcism that would send Balthazar back to hell. Midnight swiftly intervenes, reminding both of them that hostilities are strictly forbidden within the confines of the nightclub. After the encounter at the nightclub, John returns home only to be greeted by Angela, knocking at his door. She has managed to track him down and is desperately seeking his assistance. John hears from Angela that she thinks her sister Isabel has been killed. Angela makes sense of accepting that her sister had been manipulated into killing herself. She also emphasizes that Isabel was a committed Catholic and would never have committed suicide. John refuses to help her, so Angela leaves. John sees shadows from his window chasing Angela, and he pursues her. John concludes Angela's case might have something to do with what's going on in paradise and damnation. He informs Angela concerning the presence of heaven and hell, yet not in the manner in which a great many people trust it. Angela dismisses the idea, claiming that she believes people are evil and do not require any other motivation. John then concurs yet requests that she consider that individuals can be equipped for both great and wickedness, yet once in a while get a little bump from one of the different sides. The lights out of nowhere switch off, and the pair are caught in dimness. John takes out a piece of fabric. They hear whirlwinds from concealed creatures soaring over. John ignites the fabric, igniting a large fire that illuminates the area and reveals the demons in the area. The evil presences are scorched, shrieking and taking off. Angela retches from the shock of what she has seen. John suspects that evil spirits could be after Angela, not him. John inquires whether she truly accepts that Isabel could never end it all. Angela stands for her idea that Isabel has probably been killed. John must travel to hell to locate Isabel's soul to determine whether she has committed suicide. At Angela's loft, John readies a bowl of water and suspends his feet in them. He requests that Angela leave, and she goes along. Constantine takes Isabel's cat and stares into its eyes to create with Isabel's soul. As time stands still, John winds up in hell. He takes out Beeman's blessed water and keeps it closed for a fast getaway. He clears his path through the hellish scene as searing breezes and singed earth encompass him. At last, John sees Isabel at the edge of a structure, and she shouts to him. Evil spirits approach them from all sides, and Isabel removes her clinical tag. It flies in the breeze, and Constantine attempts to get it. He pursues the flying tag, however the evil spirits see him. As Isabel tumbles from the edge, Constantine goes after the tag, and the devils swarm him. As he gets the tag, he crushes the blessed water on his chest and shows up back in Isabel's condo. John acknowledges Angela and Isabel are twins and tells Angela that Isabel has ended it all and gives her the clinical tag. Father Hennessy tracks down Isabel's corpse at the mortuary. He gets her arm and attempts to add something extra to her recollections. However, an imprint unexpectedly shows up on Isabel's wrist. Hennessy falls to the ground in dread after seeing the mark. He attempts to drink from his liquor flask, yet the liquid doesn't arrive at his mouth. He tracks down a store nearby and attempts to drink from wine bottles, yet the liquor stays in the container. Balthazar shows up, playing with his coin, watching Hennessy suffer. Balthazar had manipulated him into thinking that he couldn't drink anything but was drinking all that he had opened. Hennessy dies after drowning in alcohol. John explains to Angela that as a kid he had seen demons and other evil entities. His parents, not knowing what to do, had him treated, which in turn made the situation worse. Unable to fare with what's happening to him, the young Constantine commits. He was officially dead for 2 minutes, but in hell, time moves differently, and he felt like he had been there for a lifetime. When he returns to life, he discovers that everything he could see is real. Both heaven and hell exist simultaneously on earth, at the same time, but in different planes of reality. Half-breeds like Gabriel and Balthazar were created to maintain control over humans. John and Angela are investigating Father Hennessy's death when they discover a bloody mark on his palm. Hennessy had carved out a symbol he had seen on Isabel for Constantine to see. John takes the symbol and asks Beeman to research it. They find a strong connection between the twins and try to remember anything that can help with the case. Angela remembers leaving secret messages as a kid, and she recalls the message in Corinthians 17. Beeman explains that the Bible they should refer to is the Bible from hell, which talks about a son of the devil who will bring everlasting darkness upon humanity when unleashed. The symbol on Isabel's wrist is the sign of Mammon, the son of the devil, who wants to forge his kingdom of hell, trumping that of Satan. Beeman suspects something is coming for him, and they rush to him but are too late. They see Beeman dead, covered in insects, and the man carrying the Spear of Destiny is seen driving towards Los Angeles. Angela reveals that she too had seen things when she was young and that she felt guilty for abandoning Isabel when she needed her. She wants to experience hell firsthand, knowing her sister is suffering. John agrees, and they fill a bathtub with water. Angela lies underwater, and John holds her down. She starts to drown, trying to get Constantine off of her. Time slows down for Angela, and she journeys to hell and back, finally understanding how to tell where criminals are and when to pull the trigger. She suddenly gets up and runs to Beeman's office. She reaches down and finds Balthazar's coin. Naked and seen, John arrives at Balthazar's penthouse and defeats him using brass knuckles with holy crosses. Balthazar reveals that the key to Mammon's arrival is the Spear of Destiny. Angela appears and Balthazar reveals his plan to bring her to the building. John shoots Balthazar and he dies. Angela realizes she is the powerful psychic needed for Mammon's birth. Angela is pulled away through concrete walls and John chases after her. John convinces Midnight to help him, and they prepare to use a wooden chair for a ritual. John witnesses a man carrying the spearhead to the hospital. Chase informs them that half-breed demons are vulnerable to holy water. Angela shoots the man carrying the spear, but it doesn't affect him. John and Chaz arrive at the hospital and prepare to fight the half-breed demons. John uses holy water from the sprinklers to kill the demons. Angela is drowned and possessed by Mammon. John and Chaz try to exorcise Mammon from Angela. Mammon tries to claw its way out of Angela's stomach. Chaz is killed and John calls on God for help. Gabriel prepares to unleash Mammon, but Lucifer appears and saves Angela. Lucifer banishes Mammon and burns Gabriel's wings. Lucifer offers John a deal and sends Isabel's soul to heaven. John becomes too heavy for Lucifer to drag to hell and is accepted into the kingdom of heaven. Enraged, Lucifer pulls John down. He removes the cancer from John's lungs. John will live on, according to Lucifer, allowing him more opportunity to show that John's soul indeed belongs in hell. When John awakens, all of his wounds have healed. When Angela wakes up, they both see Gabriel in the swimming pool. They notice that Gabriel is now fully human. Gabriel entices John to take revenge and hands him his shotgun, asking John to shoot. Rather, John punches Gabriel. Feeling pain for the first time, Gabriel winces. After that, John gives the Spear of Destiny to Angela for safekeeping. After Angela gives her approval, they split off, deciding to meet again at a later time. John stares into the night, realizing that God does indeed have a plan for him. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up as it really supports the channel. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you won't miss any of our upcoming content. Also, if you have any questions or suggestions for future videos, please leave them in the comments below. I love reading your feedback, and it helps me create content that you're interested in. Stay awesome!